The two teams are playing in the Silver Glove Series, and the winner of the series each and every year receives this trophy, and you hang on to it if you continue to win the series. And Rice has dominated. It was introduced in 1998, and Rice has held the trophy for the last 12 years. Last time Houston won it was in the year 2000, and since this trophy has started, Rice leads the series 59-20. The Owls will lead it off with Michael Rattery here in the second inning against Austin Pruitt. First ball hitting a sky-high pop-up. And first baseman Montemayor takes control, and it looked for a moment like Pruitt might want to take that one.
Yeah, you see the pitcher, Austin Pruitt, giving way to first baseman Montemayor there. You know, it's funny, you don't let the best athlete on the field like the pitcher take that fly ball, but that's you don't want that to happen, Bruce. You want the infielders to make those plays. It's difficult, much more difficult for the pitcher when the ball's right on top of him. Infielders are coming in and have a better angle at that ball. So Mayor called him off, and that was a good decision by Pruitt to let him have it.
Here's Cook. Takes a look at a breaking ball for a strike. And this is a very high blue sky today. It's not easy with those major league pop-ups.
No, that's exactly right. It's difficult to pick up, and the infielders have a much better angle with that ball coming off the bat.
And now 1-1 count to Keenan Cook. Well, did you ever catch a pop-up or not? Or did you ever muscle the first baseman out of the way to get one or not?
Absolutely.
I'd like to see that tape.
That's my game. Get out of the way. I can take control of this thing. Now, there were times, especially when a pitcher has to go back on a ball, it's very difficult with that mound. You can trip and fall with that mound, and it's just better to get out of the way. But the pitcher does have a responsibility, Bruce. He does need to call the infielder that he wants to make that play.
Absolutely. Staying alive is Keenan Cook, a junior out of the Woodlands and College Park High School. Michael Aquino, John Sims, the pitcher, and Keenan Cook all coming from that high school playing for the Rice Owls.
You mentioned the dominance of the Silver Glove, and how about this? U of H only winning 3 of the last 26 games against the Rice Owls.
That ball's yanked to right field, but it's going to drift foul as Fulmer gives chase. The count holds at 1-2 strikes. Here you talk about College Park High School. Guess who else is from there? Austin Pruitt, the pitcher who's on the mound. So this is a College Park High School battle right here. Keenan Cook and Austin Pruitt, and they know each other quite well.
We talked about before the game these matchups being personal. We really meant that. These guys know each other. They grew up together playing. You'll see a number of matchups today that look just like that.
Here's the 2-2. One just misses. Joking with Austin Pruitt before the game. Just depends on how the game goes, but perhaps Saturday night they all go out for a dinner, and whoever got struck out, whoever hit a home run, whatever, has to buy. That's a soft liner, and shortstop Ratcliffe able to make the play and just barely beats Cook at first.
And that was not an easy play at all. A sinking line drive like that, the infielder has to make that decision very quickly when he sees the ball off the bat. Should I come charge it or stay back on it? Ratcliffe chose to charge it, take it on that short hop, and made a great play. That was not an easy one.
And the batter will be Shane Holscher. Scoreless game, and so far we haven't seen a base runner. He's right in there for a strike. Austin Pruitt, pitcher for UH, was on a national championship team at Navarro Junior College. Breaking ball and a good 1-2. Well, these two guys are dealing so far, aren't they?
They are both efficient, both throwing strikes, getting ahead of hitters. That's exactly how you draw it up if you're pitching.
Fouled away to the right side, and the count holds at 0-2 strikes. Six batters faced, 6 first pitch strikes so far for Austin Pruitt.
Well, I tell you, as a pitcher, that's exactly the key of the game, especially for Austin Pruitt, whose fastball will be 85 to 86, 87 miles an hour. He's got to work ahead of these Rice hitters. Breaking ball misses, and now it's 1-2 strikes to Holscher, who is coming off a hand injury. Broke his hand earlier in the year. It is his right hand, the top hand, as he bats. And now the count 2-2 strikes. Shane, since coming back, has done quite well, actually. 7 of 19 for a .368 average, but he says the hand still hurts. And if there's any area that a hitter does not want an injury, it's usually the hand. That's exactly right. Every swing, you feel it.
Sharply hit, but foul.
Holscher's playing like it doesn't hurt. He's really come on strong. Really hit the ball well. So he gets moved up in the lineup today. Michael Aquino gets moved down a little bit, but because of Holscher's performances here lately.
Pruitt has set down the first 5. He has a couple of strikeouts, and he's gotten 2 ground ball outs. And another 2-2. Breaking ball off the end of the bat, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Holscher says, yeah, I'm playing with pain and Tylenol. That's what gets me through.
That medicine cabinet can do tricks sometimes.
Had a huge hit last week against UCF, drove in the winning run in that game. Grounder to the right side, Vidalis. That'll take care of the Rice Owls in the second inning. Austin Pruitt has faced 6. He set them all down. And we head to the bottom half of the second inning. This one is scoreless. No score in this one as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. And a reminder, the 2013 Conference USA Baseball Championship will be held at Rice's Reckling Park here in Houston, May 22nd through the 26th. Reserve your tickets now by calling 713-522-OWLS or by going to Ticketmaster.com. Should be an absolutely outstanding Conference USA Championship. So many good teams in this league. And as you go into it, almost always it's anybody's game.
Well, it's great to see the parity this year in Conference USA. Typically, you look down at this sheet this time of year, and Rice is already running away with the conference championship.
Here's Barker to lead it off for Houston in the second inning. Southern Miss is red hot. They've won 9 in a row. They're in second place. We'll see them next week in Hattiesburg.
UAB.
Yep.
Ron Polk. Oh, he's been around forever. I played for Ron on the '88 Olympic team.
Wow.
He was old then.
Mississippi State, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Hall of Fame coach, just like Wayne Graham here, the legends. You think of college baseball, you think of Ron Polk and Wayne Graham.
And now 3-0.
Well, this is what U of H has to do. They have to be patient, force Kubica into fastball situations and take advantage of them when they get them.
Todd Whitting in his 3rd year, 72 and 78. As he's rebuilding the program, this has been his best year. Shortstop Steinbeck, steady Eddie. 1 down here in the second inning. Todd Whitting, a guy that really gets his team to play with great energy, attitude, and effort. And of course, a great assistant at TCU under Coach Schlossnagel, and graduate of the University of Houston. Has a degree in kinesiology, and a sort of guy that as a good recruiter is going to bring outstanding players to Houston. And you know what? That circle doesn't go very far outside of Houston. He recruits a lot of local kids.
No, you don't have to go very far. And he brought in Trip Couch with him, and Trip is a great recruiter, knows these high school coaches like good friends, and they're going to turn this program around, give those guys a couple more years. They've already got them on the way back, Bruce, but both these coaches really know what they're doing, and good guys to boot.
Here's Justin Montemayor, .313 hitter to lead the way. 3rd in the league in runs scored with 29 on the season. And just a terrific story. That one in there for a strike. As you had alluded to in the open, when Todd Whitting lost Jacob Lewinberg, his normal number 5 hitter, and also Casey Grayson, this is the guy that stepped into the void.
Well, they had to have a number of freshmen do that. We see Montemayor striking out there, but we really have. We've seen 3 or 4 of these freshmen that stepped up into these positions when the opportunities presented themselves. They did a terrific job, and Todd had to have that. He's got a really young team, as we talked about. A lot of freshmen they had the opportunities, and so Montemayor has done it. Stepped into first base, and he's taken off with it.
And here's Jonathan Davis with 2 outs and nobody aboard in the second inning. What are you seeing from Austin Kubica so far that impresses you?
Well, I think it's what we've seen all year from Austin. He's locked in with getting ahead of hitters. I think he's been behind of 1 hitter, but again, that slider fastball combination, and the difference in his breaking ball and Pruitt's breaking ball, the slider is just a tighter spin, a little faster, sometimes harder to pick up.
That's a drive toward left center field. It drops in for a hit. And Jonathan Davis has the first hit of the game, the first base runner. in this pitcher's duel between Houston and Rice. And with 2 outs, the Cougars have a man aboard.
Bruce, that looked like a slider from Kubica that just stayed up in the zone. That's exactly what he got. And as a good hitter should, you get a hanging slider, you hit that ball, line drive into the outfield, and get on first base.
So Davis is aboard, and Michael Pyatt, the DH, the hitter for the Houston Cougars. And the first base runner owned by Houston. They won last night's game 8-7. So they have a chance today, if they win, to go ahead and win the series. 1 ball, no strikes to Pyatt. Designated hitter out of Lake Jackson, Brazos Wood High School. That one to the right side, and an easy play for Fox. Gets to the bag, and yes, a base hit off of Kubica, but he pitches around it. No trouble at all, and we head now to the 3rd inning. This one's still scoreless. No score in this one as we head now to inning number 3. Hey, tomorrow NASCAR heads to Kansas, where Daytona 500 champion and points leader Jimmy Johnson will look for his 3rd career victory. Fox Sports exclusive coverage of the STP 400 begins tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Michael Aquino to lead it off here in the 3rd inning for the Rice Owls against Austin Pruitt. It's been perfect so far. 6 up, 6 down. And an 0-1 count. One thing for sure, he's been getting ahead early in the count, Pat.
Yeah, 7 for 7 on first pitch strikes, and Pruitt really has come out here and established himself. And again, a testament to how he's prepared for the game, how he warms up in the bullpen, gets himself ready to face this potent Rice lineup.
Going a little bit low, and now the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Pruitt's just a bulldog. He's, you know, Coach Whitting had described him as a Maddox-type pitcher, but doesn't have as much movement on a fastball, but he does spot the fastball like Maddox used to.
No, he really does, and he has to. You know, mid-80s fastball, he understands that that's not going to blow anybody away as a hitter, so he spots it up real well. Great command, great control, but look at his poise. I mean, this is a picture of a young guy who really understands how to pitch a baseball. He's not overpowering. He can't just sit back and blow it by guys. He pitches.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That one just misses. Now 3-2 for Michael Aquino, who's had a breakout year for Rice. A .340 average, which is 4th in the league. 3rd in runs scored, 2nd in triples, 2nd in home runs in Conference USA. And that's the first base runner for the Rice Owls, as Aquino with a lead walk here in the 3rd inning. And we're in the bottom part, the bottom 3rd of the lineup, and you got to believe head coach Wayne Graham is thinking about bunt here with Jeff Parrott, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. That's been really the way Coach Graham likes to coach. He's kind of an old school guy, and even with early in the game, no matter where in the lineup you are, 3rd hitter, 4th hitter, you get a leadoff man on, and Aquino did a great job there of being that leadoff guy for the 3rd inning here. You can expect a bunt right now.
No score in this one. First base runner for Rice. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Parrott has also had a breakout year. The .316 average. Solid behind the plate for head coach Wayne Graham. No balls and 1 strike to Parrott. Blake Fox is on deck. That's pretty good first pitch pitching, isn't it? 8 of 8.
8 for 8. Can't get much better than that. I don't know how to improve on that.
That's a bunt that does drop. Not the best bunt in the world, but it'll work, won't it? It's a sacrifice successful by Jeff Parrott, moving Aquino to 2nd.
Yeah, popped it up just slightly, but tough. Again, you see these breaking balls from Austin Pruitt, and he's got a good one. And they're not easy to bunt either, but he gets it down in front of the dirt. Makes a great play. Good sacrifice bunt for Jeff Parrott.
What's tougher to bunt, a good breaking ball or a good fastball?
You know, it really does depend how good the breaking ball is, and Pruitt's got a good one. But I had to bunt one time with Doc Gooden throwing about 99.
Ooh.
That wasn't fun, Bruce.
Oh, I'd imagine. You just try to catch the ball with your bat, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what they teach you. But then you got a guy throwing 100 miles an hour. You're worried about getting a knuckle busted. And yeah, you don't get your head down into the box like they teach on bunting that type of pitcher.
Blake Fox, the hitter, number 9 hitter, cuts it the first one and fouls it away. So that's 9 for 9 now on first pitch strikes for Austin Pruitt.
We talked about how do you improve on 8 for 8. Well, you go 9 for 9.
There you go.
He's doing exactly what he needs to do, though, Bruce, working ahead of these hitters. You know, it looked like he did try to pitch around Aquino a little bit, which he should not have done as a leadoff hitter. You go after him. But you know, he's done a great job here working ahead. And now let's see how good he is at making great quality pitches with runners in scoring position.
Blake Fox, a two-way player. He's also a pitcher for the Rice Owls. Quickly down on the count. No balls and 2 strikes as Austin Pruitt goes right after him. And in talking with Pruitt yesterday, you just got the sense that not a whole lot bothers him. I mean, he's one of those guys that just lets stuff roll off his back, but he's very competitive. No,
absolutely. He just got that kind of a passive approach about it. You know, we asked him yesterday, is this a bigger game for you? You know, playing against some of your buddies. He's like, no big deal. I do want to win, do want to beat those guys. I want them to pay for dinner, but no big deal.
So is that what they would call passive aggressive?
I would guess so. No, I just love his approach, though. You know, he really does have the right mentality for a pitcher who has that mid-80s fastball, great breaking ball. And he knows how to pitch. He's working both sides of the plate here, keeping his breaking balls down. He's done a great job so far.
We'll have to ask Brian Kane, who's coming on a little bit later on in our broadcast. He's the peak performance consultant for the University of Houston. We have a little segment with him later on. We'll ask him about that passive/aggressive thing, huh?
Well, I think of it as more poise. You know, he's got great poise and composure on the mound. He does not let things get to him.
That one in the dirt and racing to third. Aquino, that is a huge advancement by the Rice Owls, and Aquino, good smart base running play. And now he's in scoring position at third with less than 2 outs.
Yeah, try to bury a breaking ball in the dirt, get that third strike, that strikeout. And unfortunately, Barker couldn't come up with it there, but not a bad pitch. Just need your catcher to be a wall sometimes. That one took just kind of a funny hop off the bounce and moved just away enough for Aquino to move over to third.
And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. By the way, Houston keeps their infield deep. That one nearly there. And Blake Fox took a look at it, 3-2.
Boy, it did miss my bunch. It's a little bit higher breaking ball.
Oh boy.
Umpire Curtis Alexander probably had that a tad high. He's been consistent so far, so we'll trust him that he thought that was a little bit high in the zone.
Now 3-2 to Fox. And he's able to get the run in with a high chopper to second. But Alice makes the play at first. And the Rice Owls get on the board here with an RBI ground out by Blake Fox. Fox last night in a pinch hitting role had almost the exact same situation and knocked in the 7th run for the Rice Owls with a ground out that got that runner home.
Well, clutch piece of hitting by Matt Fox here. He had to put the ball in play somewhere towards the middle where the infield was playing deep to get that run across, and he did his job there. He got a fastball away, pulled it to the second base, and got the RBI.
So it's a walk, an advancement on a bunt, go to third base on a wild pitch, and score on a ground ball. That's classic Wayne Graham baseball, isn't it?
Exactly the way he drew it up.
No hits, but a run here for Rice in the third. That one spanked foul by Leon Byrd. Byrd in the first inning struck out looking. 1-1 grounded to third. Nice play by Jonathan Davis. A little bit of a high throw, but Montemayor able to hang on to the bag, and that's it for the third as the Rice Owls score 1 run in the top of the third inning. Earlier today in Plano, Texas, thousands of mourners paid tribute to one of the greatest sportscasters of all time, Pat Summerall. Pat called 16 Super Bowls for CBS and Fox, as well as the Masters and U.S. Open tennis. He died Tuesday in Dallas. Pat Summerall was 82, and we will miss his understated style. Rice leads at 1-0 as we rejoin you from the University of Houston, one of the iconic structures in the skyline of UH. That is the Gerald Hines College of Architecture, and the building there with the Greek temple on top. Ashford Fulmer to lead it off here for Houston. The architectural school at the University of Houston, one of the best in all of the country.
Beautiful campus here.
A 1-0 lead for the Owls as Fulmer Now has a 2-0 count. Kubica has allowed 1 base hit. He has struck out 3. He hasn't walked anybody. That one tapped foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now this guy Ashford Fulmer looks great coming off the bus. I mean, he has a major league body, great outfield arm, a lot of upside.
Really does, Bruce. Looks like a defensive back. I think maybe the coaches for the Cougar football team may take a look at him as well. But no, he's a great athlete. And you're exactly right. He looks good in a uniform, but he's a player.
A little bit raw at home plate yet, but working on it. And obviously, you've got a guy like Todd Whitting and his coaching staff working on it. This guy's going to be a good player. 3-1 the count, and that one in there for a strike.
Well, one of the things they're working on with Ashford is they want him to stay on top of the baseball when he's hitting. He's popping up too much. They really worked on that in the cages before the game today.
That's a line drive that is hooked just foul. And so the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Got on top of that one.
Mm-hmm.
And as you'll see, he's a very quiet hitter. You'll see he doesn't take a big step with his feet. His hands are quiet, not a lot of movement, but he's explosive to the ball.
And he strikes him out. Strikeout number 4 for Austin Kubica. He blows that one right by Ashford Fulmer.
Yeah, with his fastball there, and you know, Austin not as efficient so far as Pruitt with first pitch strikes, but he's doing a good job of coming back on hitters. That time he just flat out challenged Ashford Fulmer with a fastball, said, here it is, hit it.
And as always, that fastball has movement, doesn't it?
It did. Moved away. It's a hard pitch again. When you see that ball middle of the plate starting to move outside, hitters have to adjust their hands almost in the middle of their swing sometimes.
1-0 count to Landon Appling. And even though he's only hitting .216 on the year, he is still one of the big leaders of this Houston club. And a terrific year a season ago at .324. And that is a nice diving play by Holscher. And he zings it across for the out. And the Rice Owls third baseman made a splendid play.
Well, Bruce, you're seeing these Owls we talked about how they flash leather in the field. Look at this play by Holscher. Just barely enough time to get down in position as he made that dive to pick up the ground ball, and perfect throw to first base. That's how you draw it up as a third baseman.
The Owls fielding percentage this year at .975. That's best in Conference USA. And here's Josh Vidalas back at the top of the order for the Houston Cougars. Struck out swinging his first time up. A 1-0 lead for the Rice Owls. They score a run in the top of the third inning without the benefit of a hit.
Well, Holscher's stick is really heating up, but you can see defensively, this is, again, a Wayne Graham type of a team. He wants good pitching, solid defense. You play defense like that at third base, that's going to get you more starts.
0-1 pitch in the dirt. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. The Dallas, Coach Whitting said, is real selective, and for a freshman has a really advanced approach at the plate. You see him take that big deep breath and then get back in there. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. That one in there for a strike, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Austin Kubica with 4 strikeouts. Looking to get out of this third inning and retain the 1-0 lead. And ooh, boy, that was close, and everybody was leaning, wanting to come off the field, weren't they?
Yeah, again, the home plate umpire has been very consistent. That one, just missed on the outside corner.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Vidalas. And that's ball 4. First walk given up by Austin Kubica. And we'll bring up Kyle Cervantz. And you talk about Houston and both of these teams recruiting locally, starting here and then moving outward. And you look at that homegrown talent and world-class results. And look at those numbers, Pat.
Well, it just shows you don't have to go very far from Houston, Texas to find great baseball. And as I talked to Trip Couch, who assistant coach for U of H, he's again well known as one of the better recruiters in college baseball, and he said, you know, we don't have to, but we're trying to kind of get outside the confines of Houston, bring other players in that really see U of H as is an opportunity for him. But you're right. Both teams recruit so well here.
Both teams are recruiting on a tank of gas.
Keeps those travel budgets down.
Absolutely. And there's so many great players in this area. Why not? Huh?
Well, that's exactly right. The difference is Rice has always had the upper hand here for many years, and that's what Todd Wooding and Trip Couch are trying to change.
That's a high chopper. Very difficult play for the pitcher, Kubica, and racing to third, Vidalis. It'll be first and third with 2 down, and not a well-hit ball, but well placed. And Kubica couldn't quite come up with it.
Yeah, and typically in a play like this, Bruce, the pitcher's going to go after it until he hears the infielder call him off. So it could have been a communication issue with Stringer coming into that ball. Probably should have called Kubica off at that point. I think Stringer had a much better chance to make the play. Kubica going back on the ball, it's an extremely difficult play for a pitcher to make.
Well, Servance has good speed. Would have been a difficult play for Stringer. And now the head coach of the Rice Owls, Wayne Graham, going out, the 22nd year as the skipper for the Rice Owls. Gosh, what can you say about Coach Graham? 4-time National Coach of the Year, 18 straight NCAAs.
Well, he's a legend, right? So and oftentimes we see Wayne Graham making that trip to the mound instead of relying on his pitching coach.
Yep.
He wants to talk to those players. He wants to settle them down. Probably telling Austin here, hey, let's work ahead. Ratcliffe has been a hot hitter, had 2 triples last night. But let's work ahead and get him out here. Let's not make this a big inning.
And now the red-hot hitter, Frankie Ratcliffe, struck out looking his first time up. He comes to the plate with runners at first and third here in the 3rd inning and 2 outs. Ratcliffe on a 5-game hitting streak and 8 RBIs this week alone. You look at the conference, there is Frankie Ratcliffe right on top with the 35 ribbies. His teammate Barker not far behind.
Well, when you see a stat like that, what it indicates too is that he loves to hit with runners in scoring position. He's good at it. Obviously leads the conference.
Now it's 2-0 as Kubica starts to labor a bit. Ratcliffe last night 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 triples. He leads Conference USA in triples as well.
He's got great speed. So again, putting pressure on the Owls defense here, they're going to have to make a good play to get him out.
That one just misses. Now 3-0, and clearly that being the 20th pitch of the inning for Austin Kubica, clearly his most difficult inning to this point, but you make one good pitch and you can get out of it here.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Bruce. And he needs to come back here, and it looks like he may be pitching around Ratcliffe a bit.
Barker on deck. He's an RBI man as well for Houston. That one's in for a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike now to Ratcliffe. Good runners on the bases. Vidalis at third and Servance at first. And a 1-0 score with the Rice Owls holding to the 1-run lead.
Well, I'd expect to see a slider here as well. Not going to give in and give Ratcliffe a good fastball to hit.
And it is the breaking pitch, and it is ball 4. So now the base is full of Cougars in the 3rd inning, and the number 4 hitter, Caleb Barker, will stroll to the plate. And a chance for the Cougars to get something going here in the 3rd. And the inning started innocuously enough with 2 outs, and then Vidalis, Kubica had Vidalis, I think, at a 1-2 or 2-2 count, couldn't quite finish him off. And then Servance with the infield hit and a walk, and all of a sudden, you're gripping it a little bit.
No, that's right, Bruce. And oftentimes, though, you'll see pitchers, and sometimes this could have been Wayne Graham's call as well. We don't want Ratcliffe to be the guy that beats us. Sometimes you see an intentional walk. And that could have been one of those cases where he says, hey, if we get ahead, let's go after him. If we get behind, let's not give him something good to hit.
The pitch to Barker is in there for a strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Caleb Barker grounded out to short his first time up.
When he knew he had the right-handed Barker coming to the plate here, and of course he starts him off with his best pitch of the day. That slider was nasty right there.
Barker, 32 RBIs on the year. Checked his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, according to home plate umpire Curtis Alexander. So now 0-2 as Kubica got him to fish.
When as we're seeing Austin Kubica, 1.36 ERA, He knows how to pitch with runners in scoring position, folks, and he's making great pitches right here.
He has 4 strikeouts in the game. Number 1 strikeout pitcher in Conference USA, had 80 Ks in just under 60 innings coming in. That one a waste pitch, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Barker. Zach Lemon is in the bullpen warming up for Rice. He is normally their closer, but he's a guy that can come in and pitch 3 innings for Wayne Graham at any point in a ball game. And now the 1-2 pitch, nubbed it foul, and the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, probably an indication, Bruce, that how important Wayne Graham really feels this game is. Have your closer warming up in the 3rd inning. That tells you something.
Well, and this is a game that if Rice loses, obviously the Houston Cougars will capture the series, having won last night. And he swings and misses, and that'll do it. As Caleb Barker strikes out and Austin Kubica pitches out of trouble. A couple of strikeouts. He has 5 for the game, and his team, the Rice Owls, still leading 1-0. Pitcher's duel here at Cougar Field in Houston, a 1-0 lead for the Rice Owls, and it's our pleasure to welcome in Todd Whitting, the 3rd-year head coach of the University of Houston. And Coach, obviously both pitchers are dealing, but how do you change your approach now to try to get to Austin Kubica?
Well, the key for us, and we knew it going in, we talked about it before the game, is you got to make him throw strikes. And twice now we've had runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and we've punched out on balls way out of the zone. So, you know, we got to learn to control the zone and put the ball in play whenever it comes over the plate.
Coach Pat Combs here. You've done a great job really kind of getting this program turned, and now you've got your full recruiting class coming through. You talked last night about bringing great energy, and now you've got some overachievers that have to produce here. So talk about that.
Well, I do. I mean, you know, it's taken us a couple of years to get it stocked with good players, and you know we have them now. They're very young, but they play extremely hard. So, you know, if they have to bring great effort every day. You know, they got to overachieve a little bit. We're really good in some spots. So, you know, the one thing they do is a fight.
Coach, thanks for taking the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, guys.
Head coach Todd Whitting of the Houston Cougars is Shane Holscher to lead it off here in the 5th inning for the Rice Owls. And Pruitt misses, no, it just barely catches the outside upper corner. Curtis Alexander, the home plate umpire, is again, one of those guys that puts the arm up a little bit late, takes his time.
He does, but he's been really consistent. A little smaller strike zone than what we sometimes typically see here, but he's been very consistent, which makes it easy for both pitchers and hitters to know what he's going to call.
Holscher grounded out to second base. His first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike count. And that one bounced to third. Davis makes the play. 1 down here in the 5th inning, and it's Michael Aquino. And Austin Pruitt continues to do a nice job of controlling things and pitching to contact, it would seem.
No, absolutely, and he's getting a lot of ground balls, which is exactly when he's on. That's what you look for. A lot of ground balls in the infield. He's had 1 pop-up, a few strikeouts, but Austin Pruitt's locked in.
No balls, 1 strike to Aquino, who normally is up in the lineup a little bit, but he hits better at night, does not hit as good in the daylight.
That's what they call him there, the night owl. He does hit it well at night, and he's got a 450 average at night. His average tends to drop during the daytime. So Coach Graham dropped him in the lineup today.
He did walk to lead off the 3rd inning. Went to second on a sacrifice, to third on a wild pitch, and scored on the ground out by Fox. That's the only marker on the board. A 1-0 Rice lead. Takes a pretty good cut at that one and fouls it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Michael Aquino.
Well, you saw the previous at bat. Pruitt really kind of pitched around Aquino. A lot of breaking balls, especially when he was behind the count. I'm sure Todd Whitting or Frank Anderson, his pitching coach, probably said, hey, go after him. Make him swing the bat, make him hit, especially as leadoff hitter in the inning.
And he gets it. So Aquino strikes out. The 3rd strikeout registered by Austin Pruitt. And I don't think there's any question. This time he went after him, didn't he?
He did, and great breaking ball. Probably one of Pruitt's better of the day. Look at the downward motion on that. That's what you call a 12-6 curveball. And that thing broke about a foot. Even a great hitter like Aquino had no chance. I think he must have missed that by 6-7 inches.
And here is Parrott. Well, with that curveball, you can do that some, I guess. Parrott Sacrifice bunt his last time up. And that sacrifice important. And the run scored by the Rice Owls as Aquino eventually came around to score on the ground out. That curveball and a nice play by Davis on the backhand. Did he get it there? Yes, he did. Oh, what a play by Jonathan Davis. Going to the line, flashing some leather, and keeping the score 1-0 in favor of the Rice Owls. A gem by the Cougar third sacker. The Rice Owls have a 1-0 lead over the Houston Cougars in the Silver Glove Series, and a look at some of the great accomplishments of Wayne Graham, the head coach at Rice, the 4-time National Coach of the Year, 18 consecutive NCAA appearances, and of course the College World Series appearances and a national championship in 2003. And just this past year in Lubbock, Texas, named to the College Baseball Hall of Fame. And it's our pleasure to welcome in Wayne Graham from the Rice dugout. And hey, you scratch out a run early, and so far Kibitza's making it hold up for you.
Yeah, he's throwing the slider real well. If he throws strikes, he's always very tough.
Coach Pat Combs here. You guys, typically you look at this time of year, Rice is running away with the conference championship. You guys are in a dogfight. What are the keys for Rice to continue on to win another championship this year?
Well, it's very close across the league. I think we've just got to play the kind of baseball we can play. You can't be off your game at all and win now because everybody in this league is tough.
Hey, Wayne, thanks a lot. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Head coach Wayne Graham of the Rice Owls. As we get ready for action here in the home half of the 5th inning, Landon Appling, the number 9 hitter, to lead it off. Then top of the order for Houston, Vidalis and Cervantes. Against right-hander Austin Kibitza. Kibitza's been outstanding. 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's allowed just a couple of base hits. Appling grounded out his last time up in a 2-0 count now.
Bruce, Todd Wooding talked about Landon Appling as being the captain of this team, and even though his average this year down at 216, he just does so many things right, so many things well, and he's a great leader in the clubhouse. So, great player for University of Houston.
Toward the center of the diamond, the Stringer there, and he drops it.
Well, Christian Stringer's had an unfortunate bout with some errors here. He had one last night, probably should have made it another play they called a hit. Then today, another play, probably an error here. We'll see how they score it, but again, I'm sure Christian would tell you a play he should have made.
Yeah, when he got there, he made a very good break on the ball and really a fairly simple play. Stringer makes only his 5th error of the game, if indeed they ruled it an error. We haven't seen anything on the scoreboard yet, but at any rate, for Christian, it would be only his 5th error. And you talk about up the middle, very strong for Rice this year. Steinbach, the shortstop, has only 2 errors, and Stringer, if that's an error, will be number 5. Here's the bunt by Vidalis. And Holscher somehow is able to make the play. My goodness.
Well, just lost his footing there and ended up on his backside, but does a great job of getting back up quickly to make that play.
And another look at it here. That's pretty athletic to get up and be able to make the throw.
Good recovery. It could have been a bit of a disaster for Rice to start this inning with men on first and second, no outs. Holscher did a great job of recovering there.
Well, Vidalis has terrific speed, and he ends up with a sacrifice, and Appling is at second base. And here is Cervantes. I think they have put it up as an error now for the Rice Owls on that play by Stringer, and maybe the official score was thinking about it for a little while, but it is an E up there now for Rice. And Cervantes with an opportunity to tie the game here.
Well, in the previous 3 innings, U of H has had men in scoring position. Kibitza has done a tremendous job of working out of these situations, making quality pitches.
That one's in there for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1 to Cervantes, who extended his hitting streak to 7 games with a base hit in the 3rd inning.
Another slider in for a strike. And we talked about this earlier. U of H understands, they know that Kibitza's coming with sliders. Even looking for them, they're still having trouble, putting them in play, hitting them hard and picking up base hits.
The 1-1. And it's in there for a strike, and 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kyle Cervantes. Next inning, we're going to have a very special guest, Brian Kane, who is the peak performance consultant for the Houston Cougars and some other teams as well, but he'll be joining us. talk a little bit about the mental part of the game. That's all coming up.
Well, certainly plenty of occasions so far where the mental part of the game has played a role here.
Servants 1 for 2 on the day. Fouls that one away. And the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Earlier in the year, Servants was down lower in the lineup, like 6 and 7. And of course, he's a freshman, so didn't want to put a whole lot of pressure on him, but he had some really good at-bats, and Coach Whitting said, hey, we're going to move him up in the lineup, especially with his athleticism and his speed. He's got really good speed for a guy that's 6'1". He gets it down the line now.
Well, good athlete, and he has proven himself well in this number 2 slot. He's hit the ball great. You perform, and you get moved up. That's what we've seen. You don't perform, as we've seen Michael Aquino last night 0 for 4, gets moved down the lineup.
And a strikeout and a big one for Kubica, and guess what? The slider, you think?
There it is. It's the unhittable, mysterious pitch that U of H has not been able to solve. And boy, it's a good one. Started out right in the middle of the zone, drops down. Again, just Kubica showing what his best pitch looks like in these critical situations with runners in scoring position.
And now Wayne Graham will come out and talk with Austin Kubica. And Kubica just had a big strikeout to get to 2 outs in this inning with the tying run at second base. But I'm going to ask you, what do you think this conversation is about? I assume about Frankie Ratcliffe and how they want to approach.
That's exactly right, Bruce. And Wayne Graham's second time he's approached the mound with Frankie Ratcliffe coming to bat. Every time you get together in those pregame meetings, you're going to look at a particular player on each lineup. You're going to say that guy is not going to beat us. With first base opened up, I would anticipate that Kubica falls behind here. They're going to let Ratcliffe walk to first base and face Barker.
Not going to be an intentional walk, certainly, but they will, at least the approach is to make Ratcliffe hit one of Austin Kubica's best pitches, right?
Well, exactly right. If they can get him to swing at something early in the count, get ahead, maybe then you go after him. You fall behind, they're going to intentionally walk him.
Kubica steps off for a moment. Ratcliffe has had a terrific week. He's 0 for 1 in this game. And he had 5 RBIs against Texas Southern on Tuesday and then 3 last night. And there you have it. 1 ball, no strike count. Hoping to get him fishing, huh?
Well, that's it. And Ratcliffe has shown great patience as well, not swing at those types of pitches. And that's exactly what he has to do, work himself into a fastball count. But again, even if he does here, I don't think he's going to get a pitch to hit.
1-0 count to Ratcliffe. Leading RBI man in Conference USA. A pretty good pitch there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ratcliffe thought that was a ball.
Well, he was questioning the swing. He asked the umpire, was that on a call strike or a swing? Umpire said it's on the swing.
Ooh, that wasn't a swing, was it?
Didn't look like a swing, and that's where the home plate umpire has to go to that third base umpire and ask him for some help. But that's exactly what Ratcliffe was asking the home plate umpire about.
Don't worry about him. 1-1 count. And Kubica looks but does not throw to second. And so the guy we're going to talk to in a little bit, Brian Kane, would say to Ratcliffe, so what, next pitch?
That's right? Exactly right.
And that one he went after a pitch, and again, Kubica's pitch.
And slider down to the dirt. It's just so incredibly hard to see this pitch. I mean, out of his hand, it looks fastball. Then at the last second, he picks up slider. It's already too late. He's committed on his swing.
And again, not a whole lot of difference between the speed of that moving fastball and the speed of the very, very good slider for Austin Kubica. Not a whole lot of difference.
That's right, about 5 to 6 mile-an-hour difference.
And he gets it. Again, the breaking ball. And again, it's a strikeout. And again, Austin Kubica pitches out of trouble. 8 strikeouts now for Kubica as Austin is fired up after getting that strikeout, getting out of a very sticky situation for Rice. It's 1-0, the Owls. To the 7th inning, it's a 1-0 score for the Rice Owls over the Houston Cougars. And yeah, we've had Austin aces for sure, as these two guys have really done a nice job.
Oh, it's exactly what we expected with these two, but look at these stats. 4 flyouts for the whole day for Austin Pruitt, 1 for Austin Kubica, strikeouts 9-3, but a lot of goose eggs on the board, Bruce.
Yep, the only run coming in the third inning, and that was without the benefit of a hit as the Owls scored in the third on a ground out by Blake Fox. Here's Ford Stainback. Lead it off here in the Owls' 7th inning. Breaking ball in for a strike. No balls, 1 strike to Stainback, who was a championship tennis player in high school. And Coach Graham was talking about the fact he did not play as much baseball in high school, not as much baseball in the American Legions and that sort of thing as most other players because he was such a great tennis player.
Yeah, and he was really kind of an under the radar guy. Was not even considering college baseball at one time, but Rice heard about him, had him come down to a tryout camp, and Coach Graham saw him and said, we got to have that guy.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He's grounded out twice in this ball game. Good speed, really solid shortstop. Rice with a 1-0 lead. That one tapped to third. That is a fair ball, and it's Davis again, and gets him. That's a second sparkling play for Jonathan Davis at third base for Houston.
Well, talk about this, Leather. My goodness, Bruce. What 2 plays in a row? Davis makes a diving stop the previous inning, catches this ball on the line, makes a strong throw. Look at that arm. Montemayor holds the bag at first base. Well, it just doesn't get any better than that. 5-3.
Stainback's got to be wondering. He's had some hit opportunities in this series. Last night, Radcliffe robbed him of a base hit deep in the hole. And that was in the 9th inning when Houston was trying to hold on to an 8-7 lead. Here's Michael Rattery, senior from Memorial High School in Houston. That's in there for a strike, 0-2. And Austin Pruitt, again, doing it. You know, he gets it done differently, doesn't he? Different than what we've seen from Kubica, but no less effective.
He's a pitcher. I mean, he's just working both sides of the plate. Got that breaking ball working today. We talked about before the game how important of a pitch that was for him. His curveball, establishing that early in the game, getting it over for strikes, and it has really caused these Rice hitters fits all day long.
His last game was last Saturday against Seton Hall, and he was outstanding. A 4-0 shutout, a 6-hitter, where he walked none and struck out 12. You can't do much better than that now.
No, and against a very good Seton Hall team as well. And Bruce, that's what we tell young pitchers. You don't have to break radar guns. You don't have to throw 95 to be an effective pitcher. You have to command and control your pitches. Learn how to change speeds, but learn how to control that fastball. And Austin Pruitt has epitomized that today.
Rattery off balance on that last swing and staying alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes now.
And oftentimes it's pitchers like this that cause hitters to get more frustrated.
That one sky to the right side. Dallas looks into the Houston sky, and Fulmer takes over though, and the right fielder makes the catch. You see where that ball ended up. Almost in the infield for Fulmer.
Yeah, I think Fulmer was looking at Josh Dallas going, hey, that's your ball. He said, like, are you waiting for me to call you off here?
Well, of course, the outfielder has the call on those.
No, he does. Coming into the ball, especially we talked about this bright sky today, a much easier play for Fulmer to make that play.
Austin Pruitt in the mid-80s on his pitch count at this point. In that performance against Seton Hall, the complete game shutout, he threw 142, so he can stay out there for a while as long as he's effective. Breaking ball just a little bit high. 1-1 to Keenan Cook.
Probably my old pitching coach Johnny Padres would say, well, son, when you throw 45 miles an hour, your arm never gets sore.
1-1 pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Johnny Padres, huh?
Pods.
Wow.
Yeah.
The 1955 Brooklyn Dodger pitcher that pitched the 7th game, a 2-0 win over the New York Yankees for the only World Series championship of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And that one on the right side, nice play by Montemayor, and the pitcher covers. And it's that pitcher's fielding practice paying off for Austin Pruitt and the Houston Cougars. 1-0 Rice. 7th inning stretch time here at Cougar Field in Houston, Texas. The Owls of Rice leading by a score of 1-0. Here's a look at our upcoming college baseball and softball telecasts on Fox Sports Networks on Friday. It's Big 12 baseball. Texas taking on Baylor at 7:30. And And then on April 27th, that's next week, it's Conference USA Baseball, UAB, and the Red Hot Southern Miss Golden Eagles, again 7:30. May 11th at 1 o'clock, Big 12 softball. It is the Bedlam Battle, Oklahoma State and #1 Oklahoma. And then May 11th, a little bit later on, 2 hours later, Big 12 baseball. And again, we're talking about Bedlam, Oklahoma State, and #10 OU. All that coming up on Fox Sports Networks.
Oh, that Bedlam series, always fun, Oklahoma. Well, they've got some pitchers this year. Jonathan Gray throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Dylan Overton, a left-hander. The Sooners have a really strong pitching staff.
Here's Michael Pyatt to lead it off for Houston here in the 7th inning. 1-0, Rice leading, and Austin Kubica 9 strikeouts, 2 walks.
Yeah, he's been nearly perfect today. Just really had everything working.
And it's 1-1 strike. And you think about Wayne Graham, the head coach for Rice, having Austin have that midweek start on Tuesday, 50-pitch outing in the win over Texas Tech, but such a a veteran presence, Wayne Graham, and kind of knowing what his pitcher needed.
That's exactly right, Bruce. I mean, as we talked about, oftentimes pitchers can get out of sorts mechanically, as hitters sometimes do. And it's really that head coach who has to make the decision. What does my player need to get back on track? And how do I get him to where he's, back where he's throwing the ball like he is today?
And he's gone to a 3-1 count now to Pyatt. Pyatt, good, patient hitter. 0 for 2, however, in this game, but he does have an on-base percentage of over .400. That's ball 4. So Pyatt with a leadoff walk here in the 7th inning. It's only the 3rd walk issued by Austin Kubica. You see the pitch total in the mid-90s. And the majority, of course, strikes.
Well, it's starting to get to that point where Kubica tends to tire. We talked about his arm strength being an issue, especially as Coach Graham referred to him throwing too many sliders at times and not being able to run that pitch count up. He says, look, I'm not going to keep a kid out there 120 pitches when he throws this many sliders. So you've got bullpen up and going for Rice, Zach Lamond, and this could be a situation where Wayne Graham begins to think about making a change.
Yeah, Lamond, the closer, is a guy that can pitch 2 to 3 innings. Pyatt will come out of the game. And for Houston, Chris Waylock checks in and will run at first base. You also had a good look at Coach Whitting talking with Ashford Fulmer, who is coming to the plate here. Do you get the sense he just wanted to give the sign or whatever we're going to do with this at bat directly to Fulmer at this point?
No, that's exactly right. Just talking to his hitter, preparing him for this bunt situation, and probably telling him on the sacrifice where he wants that bunt to be placed.
I mean, you notice Fulmer didn't even look down to the third base coach. And that one in the dirt. Nice block by Parrott.
Well, Parrott showing you there what a great backstop he is at catcher, and this is a really difficult slider to stop on the inside part of the plate. Watch this, how he moves his feet, gets him into position. That ball crawled up his arm. That could have easily been in the backstop.
Brian Kane, last inning peak performance consultant, said show large. No doubt, Jeff Parrott showed large to block that one. Here's the bunt. Looks like a good one. Fielded by Holscher, and the throw in time. If Holscher allows that one to drop, it's going to be hard to throw out Ashford Fulmer.
No doubt with his speed, and watch how he comes hard. Holscher comes, he sees that bunt committed. He catches that ball. He had to catch that in the air. That ball bounces, and Ashford Fulmer's probably safe at first base.
Not an easy play. Sacrifice successful, and we've seen, no question, from both of these teams, really good fundamental baseball.
Exactly right, and you saw Kubica, the pitcher there, peel off immediately to cover third base. He doesn't cover third base right there. U of H has got a man standing at third with 1 out.
Tying run is at second with 1 out. Here's Landon Appling, the number 9 hitter, 0 for 2. A 1-0 Rice lead. That run coming in the 3rd inning. That is, I think, the slider for a strike, but again, he has so much movement on that fastball. Might have been a fastball.
You made the right call. That's a slider.
Yeah.
And again, a critical situation. U of H with runner in scoring position. Which pitch do you think we're going to see from Kubica?
0-1 count. That one misses for a 1-1 count now.
Appley did a great job there of holding his bat.
Waylock, the pinch runner at second. Only one out here in the 7th inning. The Houston team that struggled against Seton Hall last weekend hit only 196 as a team. And Kubica gets that strike for a 1-2 count. And again, what are they seeing that forces them to swing at a pitch like that?
Well, just to show you again, it looks fastball coming out of his hand. And that's what the hitters obviously are looking at. They're seeing fastball, and then that ball breaks. It's that sweeping hard slider. They just can't pick the spin up.
1-2, one blocked by Parrott. Also have to have a lot of confidence in your catcher to throw that pitch, knowing that he's going to block it.
Well, Parrott's been huge, and these stops that, when you have confidence to throw that ball down in the zone and bounce it, and have a catcher back that rarely lets anything by him, it obviously gives the pitchers great confidence. They can throw anything they want up there and know that Parrott's going to be the backstop for him.
Well, you saw Kubica just hit the century mark, his 100th pitch, and a 2-2 count to Appley. Held off, good take, and now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Take a side look at this.
Yeah, good hold. He definitely held up.
Top of the order coming up for Houston. And here comes the head coach of the Rice Owls, Wayne Graham. And 3 balls and 2 strikes. And it's somewhat unusual to come out in the middle of a count, but Wayne has something he's got to impart to his pitcher.
Yeah, you don't often see that. And again, first base open here. Wayne Graham is really the master strategist when it comes to baseball. He's seen plenty of ball games over his lifetime. I think the conversation here is, which pitch do we want to pitch to Appling? Do you want to walk Appling, maybe not give him something good to hit? You've got Vidalis coming up. But Vidalis, again, a left-handed hitter with good speed, so you've got to weigh that into your decision-making as well.
Saw that number 37 for Wayne Graham. Just so happens that he played for a number 37, Casey Stengel, in 1964. He had 2 very interesting managers in his playing career. 63, Gene Mauch. 64 with the Mets, Casey Stengel. So 1 year with the Phillies, 1 year with the Mets. And you probably couldn't have gotten 2 different managers that taught him a whole lot. There's the 3-2, and it's in there, strike 3. The breaking pitch fools Appling. 2 down here in the 7th inning, strikeout number 10.
Another nasty slider here from Kubica. That one almost backed up on what we call a backup slider. That one didn't sweep across the plate. You can see it almost dropped straight down, but just enough to fool Appling. And even if he swings at that pitch, that's such a difficult pitch to hit.
About the best you can really think of as a hitter is maybe foul that off. And look at those strikeouts. Most of them swinging, but a couple of them looking. Here's Vidalis with 2 outs and a runner aboard at second. Pinch hitter Waylock, a pinch runner, I should say, Waylock at second. 1 ball, no strikes now to Vidalis.
Again, Bruce, you're just seeing that the kind of quality pitcher Kubica is, making these critical pitches in situations with runners scoring position. That's just what great pitchers do.
First base is open, but if you walk this guy, then you're getting into the 2 and 3 spots in the lineup for Houston. That ball hit hard, but right at the left fielder, and Keenan Cook makes the play, and Austin Kubica able to pitch around a leadoff walk. The Dallas lines out to end the threat for Houston in the 7th. Still 1-0 Rice. Top of the 9th inning in the top third of the Rice order, with the Rice Owls leading by a score of 1-0, and Austin Pruitt back out there. And you take a look at some of the great years for the Houston Cougars, and they, Rice has been 7 times to the NCAA College World Series, but Houston has been there as well, 1953 and 1967. In 53, they actually had to win a 3-way coin flip to stay in the playoffs in the Missouri Valley Conference. Well, they not only won the coin flip, they won the league, beat OU in the regional, and went to the College World Series. And then in 1967, Tom Paciorek leading the way, and the Cougars made it there again. Leon Berg lead it off for Rice.
Some great Cougar teams of the past, and for Dr. Bragg Stockton when he was here, the old baseball coach for U of H. Skills and drills, Bragg Stockton. I went to his camps when I was a kid.
On pitch 111, there's a ground ball to shortstop. Here's Ratliff making the play out of first base. Ratliff and Houston on that left side of the infield, very good today.
Boy, outstanding defense all day long by U of H and Rice, but here Frankie Ratcliffe making a play deep in the hole. Off balance throw and just nicks him on time. Bird out at first base, but again, tremendous leather being thrown around the ballpark today.
One down here in the 9th inning. Christian Stringer, the batter. That one's just a little bit outside. You got to give credit to first baseman Montemayor for the number of times he has stretched and kept that foot on the bag, huh?
Yeah, that 6'3" has served him well today.
Stringer takes a strike inside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike to Christian Stringer. 0 for 3 in the ball game. Austin Pruitt's been outstanding. Has allowed just 2 hits, struck out 3, walked 1. That one just misses. 2 balls, 1 strike. One thing Austin Pruitt said to us before the game was, "I can't pitch mad. You know, with the stuff I have, I can't pitch mad." What does he mean by that?
That's right. Well, oftentimes last guys, you know, they're just their mentality and their approach. Pruitt is a guy, again, we've talked about, that doesn't throw very hard, you know, mid-80s, but very good command control. And whenever he gets angry, when his emotions start to take over, he says that's when I start to pitch out of control and start to try to overthrow. And so he just stays within himself. He understands what his limitations are, but he's a pitcher. Today he's been an artist.
2-2 pitch. That one might have hit the hitter. I think it did. Strikes Christian Stringer. I think it got him on the back foot. So Stringer aboard with a hit batsman.
You look at a breaking ball in and caught Stringer right there on the toe.
So Stringer aboard with 1 out.
Stringer had something to say to Pruitt on the way down to first base. I don't know if it was a friendly discussion or didn't look too happy.
Well, and now Ford Steinbach, the hitter. That's a line drive, left center field, trouble. Racing for it, Appling, the diving attempt, he can't get it. Racing toward third, it's Stringer. Stringer will attempt to score. Here's the relay throw. Not in time, Rice leads 2-0. Steinbach with a double, perhaps even ruled a triple, most likely a double to left center field, but Steinbach drives in Stringer, and a 2-0 lead for the Owls.
Well, you'll see here, Bruce, what just a simple mistake will do. Probably one of the few pitches that Pruitt has thrown down the middle of the plate. And Steinbach does a great job of staying back, driving that ball to right center. And Landon Appling making a diving attempt for it, almost gets it right off the tip of his glove. And of course, the relay throw, this is what great speed does for you. Christian Stringer never slowed down. I don't think if they tried to stop him at third, he was going to stop anyway, but scores easily.
He advances to third base. Rattery, the hitter. Infield is in now, and the bunt attempt is foul. And Wayne Graham with 1 out had Rattery squaring to bunt. And boy, after an emotional play like that, to make it 2-0. Coach Graham kind of going for the throat, trying to, you know, you get that bunt down and a run scores and it's 3-0, and boy, you really take the air out of the balloon of Houston, huh?
That's right. 3 runs at this point in the game, critical. Probably an insurmountable lead the way Rice has been pitching and playing defense.
That bouncer down the third base line is foul. No balls and 2 strikes to Michael Rattery, who's 1 for 3.
Looked like a safety squeeze was on that previous pitch, allowing Rattery to have a chance to get the bunt down in fair territory. Steinbach could run if he feels like he can beat it.
Again, the infield is in. And now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Only the third base hit for the Owls, but a big one. The only extra base hit in this ball game, the double by Steinbach, huge here in the Rice 9th. Stays alive, 1 and 2 still to count. Rattery got a couple of hits last night, drove in a run, scored a run, and now a chance to make a big difference in this ball game. A A run in the third, a run here in the ninth for Rice. Nothing but eggs on the board so far for Houston.
Well, Pruitt, last pitch, 88-mile-an-hour fastball, inner part of the plate, so still strong. Still got a good live arm here late in the game.
Houston does have a little bit of activity in their bullpen. That's a little bit high. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I anticipate here, Pruitt's been so strong with that breaking ball all day. I would anticipate another breaking ball here, not giving in, giving Rattery a fastball to hit.
Keenan Cook is on deck. Left-hander. The 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball drilled to deep left center field. Servance looking up, and that ball's out of here. A mammoth home run by Michael Rattery. His 4th home run of the season, and Rice, in a pitcher's duel, has in essence broken it open here. 4-0. The Owls with a lead on Rattery's home run and 2 RBIs.
Well, what a great swing by Michael Rattery, and here a curveball that hangs up in the zone. One of the very few that Pruitt's thrown today. Rattery does a great job, you'll see on this replay, keeping his hands back and doing exactly what you're supposed to do on a hanging breaking ball. Pounding that thing into the power alley out of here.
It's his 2nd home run of the week. He had one earlier in the week against Texas Tech. And Kyle Servance turned, took 2 steps and said, forget it. As that one over the left center field wall just above that 375 sign. And for Austin Pruitt, the numbers are not going to look nearly as good as the way he has performed today.
That's a great point, Bruce. He has pitched a whale of a game. Kept the Cougars in it all the way here to the 9th inning.
And it'll be Verjink coming into the game. And a nice performance by Austin Pruitt. But his last pitch was that one, deposited over the fence by Michael Rattery. And Rice taking command here in the 9th. They lead it 4-0 at a pitching change. Rice leading 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Let's take a look at that last play, Pat Combs, as Jeff Parrott tried to check his swing. Would have been a run scored for Rice.
Exactly, and it looked like Parrott may have held up, but first base umpire Dale Luker didn't agree. And of course, Wayne Graham out of the dugout questioning the call. Luker trying, I think, to explain to him that's a judgment call, coach. We're not going to discuss it.
And usually when you see that sort of body language, generally the umpire is saying that's enough. Don't come any closer, right?
That's right. That's right. Judgment call. We're not going to discuss it. Just go back to the dugout. Be happy you're up 4-0. Let's get this game going.
Montemayor will lead it off here in the 9th inning for Houston. He's 0 for 2. And one of the reasons that Cougars have been held off the board. They've been able to stop Montemayor, the Rice pitching staff has. That one's in there for a strike, 1-1 now. Zach Lamont will try to pitch a complete inning here in the 9th. He came in the 8th after the error that allowed Servance to come in, but he actually will get credit for a full inning pitched because he came in with nobody out. And there's a drive toward right center field by Montemayor, and that one's going to be in the gap and cut off nicely by Bird. Montemayor going for 2. Here's the throw. Double. 6th double of the year for Montemayor.
Bruce, you referenced it earlier. There hasn't been a whole lot of pitches to hit for these hitters today. Nothing fat, but this one entered part of the plate. Fastball by Zach Lamont. And watch how Montemayor pulls his hands in, drives that ball in the gap, and then watch him run. Well, these freshman baseball players for University of Houston can really turn on the wheels, and Montemayor shows you right there. Without hesitation, down 4-0, he's taken 2.
Yeah. And Jonathan Davis, the hitter. 4-0 lead, Rice. Inside for a ball. Davis out of Missouri City, Texas, Elkins High School. Again, a Houston area school. Was really hot earlier this year until he was involved in a collision on the base pass. And now it's 2-0. And Jonathan Davis separated his right shoulder in the game. He was in about 350 when he got hurt. And now it's just kind of rounding back into shape. Sure looks good in the field, doesn't he?
Sure does. He's played it well in the game at third base. Now critical at bat for him here. Keep this rally going for University of Houston. See if they can get back in it.
1 for 2 on the day, and that is ball 3. 3-0.
The last thing that Zach Lamont wants to do here is give a free pass up 4-0.
Lamont, the right-hander at 6'2". That one is in there. Some of the Houston fans hooting about that call by home plate umpire Curtis Alexander, but it is a strike. 3-1 now. At second base. Double. Sixth double of the year for Montemayor.
Bruce, you referenced it earlier. There hasn't been a whole lot of pitches to hit for these hitters today. Nothing fat, but this one entered part of the plate. Fastball by Zach Lamont. And watch how Montemayor pulls his hands in, drives that ball in the gap, and then watch him run. Well, these freshman baseball players for University of Houston can really turn on the wheels, and Montemayor shows you right there. Without hesitation, down 4-0. He's taken 2.
Yeah. And Jonathan Davis, the hitter. 4-0 lead, Rice. Inside for a ball. Davis out of Missouri City, Texas, Elkins High School. Again, a Houston area school. It was really hot earlier this year until he was involved in a collision on the base pass. And now it's 2-0. And Jonathan Davis separated his right shoulder in the game. He was in about 350 when he got hurt. And now it's just kind of rounding back into shape. Sure looks good in the field, doesn't he?
Sure does. He's played it well in the game at third base. Now critical at bat for him here. Keep this rally going for University of Houston. See if they can get back in it.
1 for 2 on the day, and that is ball 3. 3-0.
The last thing that Zach Lamont wants to do here is give a free pass up 4-0.
Lamont, the right-hander at 6'2". That one is in there. Right. Some of the Houston fans hooting about that call by home plate umpire Curtis Alexander, but it is a strike. 3-1 now with Montemayor at second base. That one bounced to the left side. Holscher. 1 down.
Davis swung at ball 4 there. You'll see this ball up in the zone. Really difficult pitch to hit. Good hard fastball by Lamont here. About 92-mile-an-hour fastball entered part of the plate, but it's up in the zone. Davis holds back there. They've got runners at first and second, no outs.
And now it's Michael Pyatt, the scheduled hitter. But you remember that Waylock came in as the pinch runner, so he is the hitter. Chris Waylock, the 6 foot, 185-pound redshirt sophomore from Cary, Illinois. And he swings and fouls it away. Waylock came in as the pinch runner when Pyatt walked in the 7th inning, and so he immediately becomes the DH.
Waylock, one of the few players outside of Texas playing in this game today.
Waylock, a 105 hitter coming in. This is only his 20th official at bat. And that one a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball, 1 strike, runner at second. A long hold by Lamont, And a grounder up the middle. Steinbeck gets it across. 2 down. When you get a situation like this, if you're Zach Lamont and get a runner at second, you're almost ignoring that guy, right? In this situation in the 9th inning with the score 4-0.
Yeah, that's right. You know, his run doesn't mean anything really in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, Lamont is really focused on getting these hitters out one at a time. And of course, doing a good job there. Come back in the count, getting Waylock to ground out there.
So now the last chance for Houston is Ashford Fulmer, and now a pinch runner, or a pinch hitter, I should say, and it's Jacob Campbell. So Campbell will come in as a pinch hitter for Fulmer, who goes 0 for 2. Again, the right-handed hitter. Campbell, a 5'10", 185-pound freshman out of Alvin, Texas. There you see his numbers. Got a little bit of pop with a home run. He has started 19 games this year for Coach Whitting. And he comes up here in the 9th inning. That one is in for a strike, outside corner by Lamont. Houston needs 2 base runners to bring the tying run to the plate here. They've managed only 3 hits in the game. Breaking ball low. Appling on deck for Houston. Zach Lamont looking for save number 9. That one foul. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Houston won last night's game 8-7. Exciting contest that went down to that last inning. And now Rice trying to even up this Silver Glove Series at 1. 2 teams will play tomorrow right here at Cougar Field. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The runner at third is Montemayor. A 4-0 game. A bouncer to shortstop. Steinbeck. Rice wins. So Lamont, after allowing the double to start the 9th inning, he gets 3 ground ball outs. And the Rice Owls go to 8-6 in Conference USA play. They win their 27th game of the year. Houston drops to 7-4. A big victory for the Rice Owls, as the leadoff double does not hurt the pitching staff of Rice. Big win, no doubt, for the Owls, huh?
Oh, really, you know, Kubica did everything we thought he would do today, and Pruitt was just as good for U of H, just not quite as good in a close game. Obviously, Kubica made the pitches when he had to. Did a spectacular job with that Rice defense behind him, making plays all day long.
Kubica goes to 6-2 with an outstanding performance and a big 3-run home run by Michael Rattery to help the Rice Owls to a 4-0 win over crosstown rival Houston. Back in a moment. Big win for the Rice Owls today as they go to 8-6 in conference play. Houston goes to 7-4 as Rice wins it. And in this battle of aces named Austin, it was Austin Kubica, the better of the 2, Pat Combs.
Yeah, he was sharp all day. Look at these sliders. I mean, it's just an unhittable pitch at times, and just nasty. And as the hitters we've talked about just say, man, sometimes those pitchers are just unhittable. You can't pick them up. And Austin Kubica, you're here with us. It's great to have you on.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Well, it was a 7-inning performance. He allowed 2 hits. He struck out 10. He walked 3, and now Austin joins us. And what did you have going today? What were the things that were working for you mostly?
I guess both my pitches, just the fastball, slider. I was able to get ahead with the fastball and then put people away with the slider. And when I needed to throw the slider for a strike, I was able to. So, I mean, just everything was working. Defense made some great plays. And our hitters showed up today and did a great job. So, I mean, it's just a great team win.
Well, Austin, you've been a big game pitcher all season. You've really kind of come through for Rice when they've needed you most, and today was no different. Talk about the importance of this game today.
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, anytime you're facing your rival, you want to win every game. And, I mean, we did a great job. Battled last night, unfortunately came short, but I think everyone was fired up to play today. And like I said, everyone just did a great job and another great team win.
Austin in the 4th and in the 5th. You had runners on board, runners in scoring position, and you finished off Houston with a strikeout. We saw emotion from you. You're a pretty even-keeled guy, but you were showing some emotion in this game.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I love the game of baseball, and I mean, I'm just trying to keep them off the board and help my team win, and I was able to do that. And I mean, like I said, I love the game of baseball, so I was just happy to be out there.
Well, Austin, typically you look at the standings in the Conference USA, and Rice is about this time. They've already run away with the conference. Not the case this year, but, you know, critical game today and kind of turning again the tide of what happened last night, you getting a big one today. Do you think this is a catalyst for the Rice Owls to kind of get back on track in the CUSA?
Yeah, I sure hope so. I mean, we've had some close games, unfortunately came short, but hopefully this game right here really takes us over the top and start making a run to first place in Conference USA.
Austin, you know, as a pitcher, when you see a guy like Michael Rattery really turn on a pitch, now you had already come out of the game at that point, but in the 9th inning, that home run was a big one, and it had to make you feel a whole lot better about where you were.
Absolutely. I mean, Rat does great here, and he's done great for us all year, and I mean, it was nice to see him connect with one, and hopefully it continue into tomorrow.
Well, congratulations on an absolutely terrific performance, and I guess the pitching on Tuesday for 50 pitches helped a little bit, did it?
Absolutely. I mean, I was able to get my confidence back, get the fastball over and everything like that, so I definitely think it helped a lot and carried over into today.
All right, great job, Austin. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. God bless.
It was the Rice Owls winning this game by a final score of 4-0. They got a run in the 3rd and 3 in the 9th inning on the big home run by Michael Rattery, and a huge win for the Houston Cougars. Join us next weekend for 2 big college baseball telecasts on Fox Sports Network's first Friday. We'll take you to Waco for Big 12 baseball as Texas meets Baylor. Then Saturday, we go to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Conference USA baseball action, UAB meeting Southern Miss. Thanks to our producer, Bob Steinfeld, and our director, Hill Thornell. Now, this is Bruce Howard for Pat Combs saying so long from Houston, where Rice has won it 4-0. You've been watching Conference USA Baseball on Fox Sports Networks.